Eric, but not waiting yet.
We've got a forum.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna begin the meeting. Just want to announce this, meeting has remote access and we're open to recording. All votes taken because, we have members that are joining us, remotely. All, votes taken done in a roll call vote. This time I'd like to get a, roll call of the, members. Bill Ambrosino here.
Jake Cross here.
Eric Hodge attending remotely.
When Damon joins us, we'll announce his, let me know when you're, All right, so begin the agenda of tonight's meeting.
Oh, hi.
Have any minutes tonight, so we're gonna move directly to,
Out of my drink.
the administrative site plan review. Plans. Okay. Here, you want to start the camera ready? Nice review.
Yeah.
Thank you. You've done a heck of a job with this, precious one's child care. You've grown that quite a bit.
Yeah, how do you know about us?
Oh, my brother talks about it all the time.
Okay.
Bobby?
Yeah.
Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother talks about it all the time.
We started with 7 kids 15 years ago, and now we have 6 locations with over 400 kids. It's crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Leave it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening to you and members of the board. My name is Rob Knappert from Allen Engineering, and with me is Jeff May. And I'm before you on behalf of Jeff's company called Precious Ones Child Care Center, Inc. Jeff and his wife, Deb, are in the business of operating child care facilities. And as you just heard him say, he has 6 locations throughout the Blackstone Valley, and he seeks to acquire the building at 1 Emerson Street and operate a daycare center at that facility. I suspect you're aware of the property or know where it is, but it's Hastings Street, it's Route 16, as you know. You come from Uxbridge towards Milford, and the property is located at the corner of Hastings and Emerson Street. It is about 7,000 square feet, well, 1.4 acres in size, and situated on the property is a 1-story building that was formerly used for a number of different, primarily office uses. There is parking situated on the property, which we show on the site plan. Access is from Route 16 and Emerson Street. A good portion of the property is paved. In front of the property, park facing Hastings Street is lawn. So Jeff would acquire the property, renovate the building, and use it for his a daycare facility. We're here before you under this administrative site plan review, as I read your bylaw, because this is a change in use. Although it's a change in use, most of that change will be internal to the building, obviously pretty extensive renovations to fit it out for just purposes as a daycare facility. The only change that they propose to make to the exterior of the building, of the site, is to construct a playground in this location, which we show on the plan. The playground would be a 30 by 50 foot fenced in area and include what you normally think of as a playground, the kind of apparatus and equipment that children would use. So That's the plan. Jeff would like to, as I said, acquire the property quite soon and convert it to a childcare facility.
I mean, basically, really what I hear tonight that is basically concerns with obviously traffic. The existing building and the existing area, well, where you throw a rock and hit my building across the street. It's, so I noticed many things that you were going to kind of stipulate to your parents is to come out Emerson. And I'm not sure that's a great idea. Because this intersection isn't conducive to getting up onto 16 during rush hours. So it might make it more difficult to usher the traffic down Emerson, unless they go out the back way. Yeah, they can be selective on how they do it. I just wouldn't recommend exiting on Emerson. I would use the traffic here. And I think that's more palatable, is getting out.
Yeah, Emerson might be part of the state.
It is.
Just the eighth, make it one way or something like that.
Well, there's gonna be a light there eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, in a couple of years, it'd be no problem. There's gonna be a traffic light at that intersection. So, but until that time, I'd just be wary of that. Looks like you have plenty of existing parking spots. Yeah, I assume you're gonna line it.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I went back in my history of, I know when the V&A was there, they had quite a bit of traffic. The lot was always full. And it didn't seem to be a problem at that time. Your issue is you've got two-hour windows of traffic. They, you know, I think it's gonna be more than an inconvenience for the traffic for the roadway, because I mean, 16, a heavily traveled road. I had 50 cars per hour to it. For the stopgap to, I think the biggest problem is for customers. It's, maybe problematic for them, but, they'll have to deal with it. I mean, I don't see anything zoning wise that stands out. Like I said, the history of the property, it's had other existing businesses there with heavy traffic flow, never seemed to be a problem. But, it, just, like I said, I'd be leery of having everybody exit on Emerson. Because with the Maple coming in and 60, that's an awful tough place to get in now. I mean, even the end of Washington is difficult to get out. So I think they're asking for trouble for something that I think you're better off sending them out.
So and I appreciate that input. You would route the traffic this.
Yeah. I think you're asking for trouble if you try and mix it up. Emerson. Now, some people will go out, the back way.
Well, my thought process was to direct them right now, away from 16.
Well, that would be smart if you do that.
And let them know if they're going back toward us, we can go backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I live across the street. Very top.
Yeah.
It's a sharp one. Usually out of Washington, same for Emerson. I'll usually only take a right hand turn on Washington.
Right.
The traffic is getting across two gates.
It's taking your life to you.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, I can tell you because my office is right there. We sit there and watch a lot of accidents because people trying to get out of Washington or Emerson. So you really need to,
They try to make a left.
I left out of Washington.
And I get it, I left, similarly, a left from Emerson
Yeah.
is a difficult.
Because you've got traffic coming out of Maple, you've
Yeah.
got traffic coming from
I
16.
think you hit on somewhat of a silver lining here, that when this is signalized, obviously.
Yeah, within 2
Guarantees
years,
to get a gap in the traffic.
yeah, within 2 years, it's gonna be a signal.
Thank you.
It's probably worth more too. So,
Hey,
but,
Bill, letting you know on the meeting, and I've been listening to this whole thing, so.
okay, just so everybody's aware, planning board member Dave McKinney is now taking part, and he's been listening to the whole, thing, so, other than that, do you have any questions, Eric? Any questions?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. What's the square footage of the existing building?
9,000.
Thank you. And in your project summary, you indicated that approximately 120 families would be served by the daycare center. How many children does that represent?
100, yeah, we're right now licensed, that we're moving from a facility not to its license for 139, but we lose 20 of those children because they're before and after school children. Buses won't come over the line, so we're keeping that program in Uxbridge. So we're moving over approximately 199, it's initially, but this space allows for some growth. So no, 99, sorry, yeah. So with the space of the building currently, with some of the build out, we can probably go up to 130, 140 potentially, over time. We don't know what the impact will be on the community of Mendon and Hopedale and East, until we get situated.
One other question I'd like to see, is around the playground area. If you guys could put some bollards in or something, just in case a car veered off, you don't want to.
It's already, so in Northbridge, right on 122,
Right.
Sheriff's Haven.
Yeah,
We put big, huge boulders in front of
Okay.
the building and the playground for that very reason.
okay, yeah, if you could make that a condition of the, yeah, because we obviously don't want a tragedy. But, other than that, I can't think of any more questions myself. Any of the other members? Yeah. Oh, yes. All signage has to be approved by the board, so if you get a rendering of a sign to us, before you, go for the permit, that'd be great. We'd like to take a look at it for
Sure.
Something that is conducive to, colonial America, type of thing. Like mine is a wooden sign,
Ours is our logo, which is 2 crayons with Precious One's child care.
Do you do it on wood or how do you?
Some of that, kind of like aluminum, but it's
Yeah.
very thin. I can't think of the name of it.
Okay,
Would you use the same marquee that's there, the same?
Yeah, with the visual magnetics currently is, we use
Right.
the same.
yeah, if you could put something together for us, just so we can
Yeah.
see. And, other than that, it doesn't look like much community here tonight, so is there anybody online that has any questions?
I guess one further question I had with respect to the chairman's point around, having some protection around the playground area. Was there consideration for an alternate location for the playground within the site?
There really wasn't. It is a portion of the property that's not paid, so we selected a portion of the property that's not paid. And in addition, it sort of makes sense there based on the way they're gonna use the building, based on the available space, based on the grades. So I would say that, the short answer is that while there was other consideration, this was the best spot for the playground.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Without any other questions, I'll look for a motion.
I can make a motion to approve 1 Emerson as presented. And make sure that the conditions are in the decision.
Okay,
Second,
got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jacobs.
Bill Ambrosino, aye.
Eric Hodge, nay.
Damon Tenio, aye.
Oh, it's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Got a couple items for 7 Nipmuc. First, why don't we, because the 81P is an easy peasy. Why don't we talk about the construction, how you doing?
Good. Mark Santora,
Yeah,
I'm the engineer for the project now, we've taken over for the construction phase.
yeah.
I'm just, I'm sticking around because Allen Engineering prepared the 81P plan, so
Right.
I wanted to make sure I was here in case there were any questions. I know Mark from way back, Mr. Tony came back, and I remember that. It's a big guy,
All
so.
right, let's go.
So, thank you, I didn't mean to get off on the same track. I brought a plan tonight, that shows the only one minor variation to the work that's going on.
All right,
We relocated the stockpile onto the next door neighbor's property.
can you bring that over here?
Yes, sir. The original stockpile location was.
Did you send this to,
I haven't, I'll send it electronically though. This is good, quickly.
you just bring it down.
Basically, the original site plan had the stockpile design right in the building. This is the first building that
Yeah.
they want to build, so it didn't work for the owners. So they made arrangements with the next door neighbor to utilize
I'm
that
familiar.
property. Yes, sir. So we moved the pile over there and I flagged the wetlands and moved the erosion control barrier between pile and the slope. Is closest line is 115 feet. And while flagging those wetlands, I encountered relic flags at each of my flag points. So when I was doing my analysis to determine where by topography and plants and all the methodology, where the first flag was, I zoned right in and boom, there's another wetland flag. So whenever you're doing that, you feel good, you're putting them where they belong. And
So
so,
you're outside the foot buffer,
yes, sir.
and you've got the erosion control lane. Okay,
And the plan now is not, that pile isn't gonna be there the whole project. The plan now is to, we're,
that's all the loom, right?
no,
No?
the loom is over here.
All right.
And this is when they started excavating,
Oh, the rock
the
pile.
rock is, so some of the rock came out of here, but most of it's coming right out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's Southern Digging.
Because the rock is, well, first of all, the rock under the drainage has gotta go because we need to put something good under there, stone and sand.
Yep.
And then under the building, it's not competent rock, so we wanna put the rock foundation either right on bedrock or on compacted structural fill. So the plan is to crush this, put it over here, and then bring it in on top of the competent rock, compact and lifts, and then put the foundation on top of that, and then move the rest of it into the site as needed.
So how long is this stockpile gonna be here?
Like, the plan is to move crushes in literally tomorrow, they're shipping them, and then crush for a week, and then it'll move from here to right, pretty much where it showed on the plan, and then be used throughout the project.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right, well,
And then, and just to be,
looks like it meets stormwater guidelines.
yeah, and to be, and I thought about there's no bylaws or rules against doing it this way, it's just a little different than what was proposed, so
Right.
it's best to show you, and the only, to be transparent, there's more rock here. And then when they break to get this down a grade, some more might come, and then at that point, the crushers, if they're gone, they'll put it back here until it can be crushed a second time and then finished.
I got you.
Because the rock is everywhere, and it's not all, it's
Yep.
too much to deal with all in one phase, but it'll be, that's how it's gonna be handled in stages.
As long as it stays outside that buffer zone and the erosion control works. Yeah, I'm expecting that you guys will make sure that erosion control is working. If we find sediment down
Yeah,
here,
understood.
you know what, they're gonna stop the job.
Yeah, no, and we don't want that either, and they,
And it's
it's,
happened before in this town.
yeah,
so.
no, and the good thing of it is, it is rock, so it's not gonna tend to be mobile, but we'll keep a close eye on it, and, it's it's one of those things that just needs to be maintained, as this, if the erosion controls get weathered, we'll have to replace them.
Does that change any of the waste, the stormwater management proposal that
No.
Jeff had reviewed
No.
originally upon
No,
the
no,
inception
sir.
of the project?
The final construction will be
No.
as per plan, it's just the temporary measures.
This is temporary, yeah.
And on that note, though, it's a good question. There's two things on page 2. Stockpile and a temporary pond,
Yeah.
which when we don't plan to construct. This pond has already been constructed in temporary fashion, so the contractor will use the proposed
Yep.
pond for a temporary pond, and if any sediment accumulates in that, be removed before.
I guess the reason why I asked the question was looking at was if you take the composition of the ground and you change it, then maybe the stormwater
No, this is,
flows change.
yeah,
No.
no, this is just a matter of where the temporary stockpile. The rest of the site's gonna remain the same.
Yeah, in fact, we're following.
I just think there was concerns from conservation that we were gonna end up getting some erosion running down into the wetlands. And they wanted us to take a look at it. Yeah,
Is your construction entrance constructed? Do you have crushed rock or anything like that?
Um,
gravel?
We're using the main entrance, and we put stone
You got
and
riprap.
gravel, not riprap, but it's working.
Yeah, just for-
We'll watch it, if it,
Make
if,
sure you track them.
yeah.
yeah,
if any tracking occurs, we'll dig out the small rock and put in bigger rocks, but right now, the small rock that's in is working good.
all right,
But, yeah, what precipitated this is, I guess, some rock got placed in this road by somebody else, and the conservation agent called us and said, was that you guys? And I said, no, but talked about what we had done, and she said, well, maybe it's best to talk to the planner, and so that's why I put this plan together, and figured we'd come in.
Meaning recently or just some time ago?
Like, right recently, yeah, right, coincidentally, right when,
Yeah, 12 month.
yeah. And that's it, we're on the site, I'm in PE, I'm on the site at all the time, not all the time, but a lot, and enough that when I got the call, take compliance seriously, I went out, shot the wetlands through this plan, wanted to make the report that there's no violation from this site.
okay.
Okay,
Does anybody else have any questions?
Hello,
Hello,
Carl Hummel, 15 Misco Road, Mendon Conservation Commission Chair. I just wanted to be comfortable that you are working with our conservation agent. Have you talked with her today and given her an update?
Dylan's been, talking to Isabel,
I,
and, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
And we're handling it. I mean, it meets all the setback requirements, it meets erosion control. So it looks like it's in line.
Yeah, when I reviewed the site plan and the building permit a couple years ago, I measured and said, nope, you didn't seem to be impacting on any wetlands. And that's why I was surprised that we got a report last week about it, but I'm glad it's being handled.
Actually, it's because they came forward with where they're storing their stockpile. They made a move with the stockpile that
Right.
put them close to the setback. And so they just want to be reassured that Isabella wanted to be reassured there wasn't going to be an issue. So we took a look at it. It doesn't look like it is an issue.
Great.
Thanks, Calvin.
I've been in touch with Isabel.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, this doesn't require a vote. This was just for a update on the construction of the site. So I don't see any action the board needs to take. Here you go.
Thank you, sir.
You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, now we got left is 81P, right? And 81T.
Bill, if I need to stop in and sign anything tomorrow, I will go see Dylan.
All right,
This doesn't affect us, right? This is this saying.
no, you're all set.
Thank you,
Right. Actually, you don't really need to be here. This is pretty cut.
You know, I'm not-
No, I didn't, you're just adding A to lot one. It got all the upland requirements. I mean, obviously, there's plenty of acres. No. Dimensionally, it meets all requirements, so that-
Change frontage.
No. it's got plenty of frontage. It's got all this here. It's got plenty of frontage. So. I don't know,
What's the benefit?
approximately,
Yeah, the real purpose of the plan can be boiled down to, simply creating that parcel A, which is a very small 3,866 square foot parcel, to be conveyed to and combined with, lot one.
yeah.
So that's the real purpose of it. There's a lot of.
Well, this way, lot one wasn't by itself before. Lot one was part of the whole thing originally, right? You're cutting it off?
Yes.
Yeah, so you need to do this whole thing. Just for interest sake, why did they add parcel A to this?
Well, what happened was when the roadways were abandoned.
Yeah.
Works owned on both sides of, this portion of the roadway that was abandoned.
Yeah.
Their rule is when the road is abandoned, the adjoining owners own to the center line. Obviously, if you own each side, then you own the whole road.
Right,
That was the case with this stretch of it. But when you get to here, on one side was Pinto.
oh, I
on the
got
other
you.
side is Court. So
I
they
got
each, when the road was abandoned, they each required a chunk to the center.
Right,
So this is defining that chunk because Pinto is going to convey it to the court.
okay,
So it's a lot of legwork for.
Yeah, I got you.
small purpose.
okay,
Okay,
all right, yeah, I don't see
I
anything.
make a motion,
Sure, go ahead.
I make a motion to convey parcel A to lot one as presented.
Second,
All those in favor?
Eric Hodge, aye.
Damon, I.
Jake Kraus, aye.
Bill Ambrosino, aye. All right. Now we just have to sign all the papers.
thanks, folks.
Do we have them all?
I want to also acknowledge with appreciation the helpfulness and responsiveness of the town planner. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, she does a great job. We
I'll
appreciate
come see you
it. I
tomorrow.
know I appreciate it. We just need one more,
Tomorrow, David or Eric.
yeah, Damon and Eric could stop in.
Yeah, I'll come see you tomorrow, no problem.
All right, Damon, yeah, if you can take care of that, that would be
Yeah.
helpful.
We only need
Okay.
one.
No problem, Eric.
I got some sick kids here, so
That's the worst.
yeah, not fun.
All right. You want the next motion?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
All those in favor?
Damon, I.
Eric Hodge,
Jake
aye.
Kraus.
Have a good night, guys.
Bill Ambrosino, aye.
Bye, Dylan. Thank you.
Thanks, Ellen.